Welcome to the Occupational English Test, also known as OET. This training video is on the speaking subtest, more specifically for doctors. The test format is as follows. You will be given 20 minutes. You need to talk to the interlocutor for 5 minutes. This is the warm-up session where you will be asked personal questions. Following this, you will be given a role play card and 2 to 3 minutes for preparation. Once you're done with your preparation, your role play will commence. This will go on for about 5 minutes. Once you are done, you will be given a second role play card and the same procedure will be repeated. So basically, you will be given 2 role plays specific to your healthcare profession. This session is recorded and scored by 2 different examiners. This test is a face-to-face examination. It will be between the interlocutor and you. The interlocutor will play the role of the patient or the carer, while you will play the role specific to your healthcare profession. Now, this is how the speaking is assessed in OET 2.0. These are the total marks scored by you divided by 39, which is a result of 24 plus 15 into 500. Whatever score you get is then converted into the grade. On this side, you have your linguistic criteria. The first one is intelligibility, which basically means speaking with clarity in a way that is understood by the other person. The next criteria is fluency, speaking without pausing too much or using too many fillers. The third criteria is appropriateness of language, which basically means that depending on the kind of task you are given on the card, you must use language according to that. And finally, resource of grammar and expression, which include all the important components of grammar, like sentence construction, proper usage of articles, tenses, proper words and phrases, etc. This is a total of 24 marks. For each criteria, you get 6 marks. On this side, you have the clinical communication criteria. The first point is relationship building. For this, you've got 3 marks. In fact, you've got 3 marks for all of these criteria. Relationship building talks about how you interact with the patient. Are you making the patient feel comfortable? What kind of words are you using? So all of these components are covered there. The next one is understanding and incorporating the patient's perspective. When you are doing the role play, you will be expected to use this particular aspect as well, instead of just assuming and suggesting or judging the patient. The next criteria is providing a structure. You must follow the structure given in the role play card. At the same time, you must tailor your responses based on the structure. Information gathering refers to how you get the information from the patient and what kind of information. And information giving refers to the solutions you will be providing to the patient or the carer. This comes up to a total of 15 marks. Let us look at the description of this type of question. You are given one role play card at a time. You will not be given the interlocutor's role play card, so you don't know what the interlocutor is going to say. You can only guess based on your card. The interlocutor's card will include information that is not included in your role play card. It gives you a good idea of the outline of the conversation. The role play cards will inform you of the key details about the patient. They also consist of the reasons for the patient's appointment. You need to take all of these pieces of information into consideration and plan your approach accordingly. Now, here are some strategies to answer this type of question. First, you must understand that this tests a real patient and health professional interaction scenario. This test is basically looking at the communication aspect and not specifically your medical knowledge. When you get the card, analyze the type of information given. If you have doubts, you must ask or clarify these doubts before beginning your 3 minutes prep time. Try not to memorize long answers. People often do that. You might not necessarily get the same card. Establishing a relationship with the patient, in this case the interlocutor who is posing as the patient, is very, very important. Make sure you ask for relevant information and do not include anything that is unnecessary, as this will just take up a lot of time and you will be completely off topic. Since this is the speaking test, there are some major factors that you must keep in mind. The first one is pronunciation. You must speak with correct pronunciation. You don't need to imitate a native accent, but your own accent must be very clear and pronounced. There should not be a hint of mother tongue influence. At the same time, when you're interacting with the patient, you shouldn't think about what you're going to say next, as you've already been given 3 minutes of preparation time. So make sure you use less fillers like or pause for a long time. Make sure you include all of the information, especially those given in the bullet points. If required, during the prep time, make notes on how you're going to ask these questions. Keep the context in mind, and by this I mean the setting. If you feel that certain keywords and phrases are important, or you can underline them and speaking, refer to them. Using a wide variety of vocabulary will give you an edge and increase your score in the linguistic criteria. Don't just stick to very simple phrases. Try to elaborate your question. Intonation and voice modulation is extremely important. Intonation basically is how your voice rises and which parts you're stressing on, how you're saying it. Voice modulation is again connected to the rise and fall. Like when you start a sentence, you speak with a rising tone. When you're ending, you speak with a falling tone. The ideas and examples given in your role play card should be said in full and complete and proper sentences, not in short bursts of phrases. Most importantly, remember to be confident and smile. Make eye contact with the examiner. Of course, you don't have to stare intensely or continuously, but make sure that you do not look distracted or at the walls or the tables or any other props present in the room. Take charge of the conversation and lead the conversation. Now this is practice 1. As you can see, an example has been given to you. This is the interlocutor's card. So when you're practicing, you can appoint someone as the interlocutor. If you're practicing with your trainer, of course the trainer will take on this part. But if you're practicing and using this video to practice on your own, you can definitely select a partner. It could be a friend, it could be a brother, a sister, parent, anybody. This is the card that they should be using. As you can see, the setting is given here, the patient details are given here, and the task, this is all based on the patient. The patient has to use these points to speak. Now let's look at your card. Now since this is a doctor's training video, this is how a doctor's card, or the candidate as you will be referred to, looks like. This is your setting. This is a description of the patient who is visiting, and these are the following bullet points on which you need to prepare your questions. Tailor your response based on this. So go ahead and do the practice. Practice 2. This is the interlocutor's card number 2. As you can see, the setting is given. In this case, the interlocutor is the carer and not really the patient. This usually happens when the patient is really old or if the patient is really young. So you often have the role of a carer. These are the tasks assigned, or rather the questions given for the interlocutor. Once again, select a partner to play this particular role. This is your practice number 2 and your doctor's card number 2. Again, this is your setting. This is a description of the patient, And these are the points on which you have to elaborate and create a role play. So go ahead with your practice. Now, to enable you to use good words and phrases, especially when it comes to linguistic criteria, OET speaking phrases. So here are some of the phrases that you could practice using during the actual role play. Suppose you want to start a conversation, then you could say, "Hello, I'm Dr. James. Can I start with your name?" Or, "Hello, my name is Dr. Evans. May I know your name?" So these are some of the ways in which you can speak. Next, you need to keep the conversation moving. You cannot be limited to just that particular phrase. So to keep the conversation moving, you could say, "So please tell me a little bit more about your situation," or "Is there anything that you would like to add?" Similarly, if you're asking questions to get the patient to talk, you can further proceed with phrases like, "Do you feel sore?" or "Can you describe the pain to me?" Finally, listen to the patient and adjust your language. You cannot be speaking in the same manner to all kinds of patient. Now, for example, if you're talking to a depressed 87-year-old man, or if you're talking to an aggressive 18-year-old man, how would you speak? What would you say? How would your language change? Would the words and intonation change? So these are some of the things you have to bear in mind when you are talking. Here are some more OET speaking phrases. Now, suppose a patient, let's say her name is Mrs. X, says to you, "I can't always get to the toilet in time." Now, what will you report? In a letter, or when you're reporting this to a colleague, you might translate this up to, "Mrs. X is having problems with incontinence." So this can be used, of course, when you're putting it in writing, but when you're speaking, you can do it as well. On the other hand, you need to tell the mother of Dan this information. How would you pass on the information? Dan needs to have a tonsillectomy. And this is one way of, speaking. But since you're speaking to the patient's mother and she might not know medical terms, you can translate it to, "Dan needs to have his tonsils out. Dan needs to have an operation to remove his tonsils." These are some of the ways in which you can speak. Now, here are some techniques. So, first and foremost, you need to understand who the patient is. For this, identify the type of patient, understand the patient's emotions, plan your approach accordingly. Next, interact with the patient. The second thing you need to do is to find out what exactly the problem is. So what do you need to find out? One, the problem. Next, look at your task and rephrase the points into appropriate questions. When you're speaking to the patient, begin with proper opening questions. And when you're finishing, do not finish abruptly. Instead, finish with the proper closed question. The third point is, what do you need to tell the patient on the basis of the information the patient gives you? First, inform the patient about all the necessary information related to the disease or the condition they are in. This will also include tests and course of treatment. Tailor your questions accordingly, and based on the patient's response, you must also respond accordingly. The fourth most important bit is English communication. Communicate confidently, take control of the interaction, ensure that you are leading the topic of conversation instead of the other way around. Avoid memorizing from old templates or previously done templates. Ensure that you are maintaining your fluency by avoiding fillers and pauses like and Fifth, the most important point is relationship building. Here, ask permission for uncomfortable topics from the patient. Once the patient tells you what the issue is, do not devalue or criticize them. Show them empathy. Make sure you elicit and explore the patient's concerns. Use the patient's cues to react accordingly. Here are some general speaking tips. First, what you could do is find an English speaking conversation partner and make sure you listen as well as speak. Use a mirror to see how you appear and whether your pronunciation is correct and the placing of the words in the mouth is correct. Record your practice conversation, go back, listen to it, correct the errors. Surround yourself with the English language, practice with music and movies. First without subtitles, then with them. Watch and listen to audio visuals in various accents. Practice reading aloud. If you do this on a regular basis, your speaking and communication will definitely improve. That is the end of this reading session. Thank you. All the best with your practice.